Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're breaking down what it really takes to launch an investment fund in India. Whether you're dreaming of a private equity fund, a fast-paced hedge fund, or a public mutual fund, this is your blueprint.
So, I'm guessing the question on this slide is why you're here. If you're ready to take the plunge, then think of this as your personal guide through the entire maze, from that first spark of an idea all the way to a fully registered, up-and-running fund. Okay, here's how we're going to tackle this. We've got 5 simple sections. We'll start with the biggest decision you have to make right at the beginning. Then we'll walk through the 2 main paths you can take. We'll cover all the tools you'll need in your kit. And finally, we'll talk about what happens after you're officially registered.
All right, let's get right into it. This is, without a doubt, the most critical decision you will make. Are you going the AIF route or the mutual fund route? This one choice basically sets the rules for the entire game. Who you can raise money from, how much capital you need, the whole shebang.
So what's the difference really? Well, think of it like this. The Alternative Investment Fund, or AIF, is like a private club. It's built for sophisticated, professional investors, and the rules are a bit more flexible. On the other hand, a mutual fund is for the general public, the retail investor. And because of that, it comes with much heavier duty requirements, like setting up a whole asset management company.
So, if your game plan is to launch a private equity fund or a hedge fund for those professional investors, the AIF path is almost certainly for you. Let's walk through the exact blueprint for getting it done. This timeline gives you a great bird's-eye view of the journey. You'll see it starts with designing your fund strategy. Then you get into the nitty-gritty of drafting documents and hiring key partners. After some internal checks, you officially file your application with SEBI, that's India's main market regulator, and once they give you the green light, it's time to get operational and bring your investors on board.
And here, we break it down even further, step by step. What's really important to notice here is step 6, CBI review. It's not just a one-way street where you submit and you're done. There's a back and forth. They'll have questions. Being prepared for that is absolutely key to making this whole process go smoothly. Now, back in step 1, a huge part of your fund's design is picking the right category. Category I is generally for venture capital or social impact funds. Category 2 is the classic home for private equity and debt funds. And Category 3, that's the fast-paced world of hedge funds. Each one has its own set of rules on what you can and can't invest in, so choosing the right one is crucial. Okay, this is where the rubber really meets the road, the paperwork. Your application to SEBI, called Form A, needs all of this. You've got your legal documents, your investor-facing pitch book, the private placement memorandum, or PPM, and detailed background checks on everyone involved. And let me give you a pro tip. The PPM is everything. A weak or incomplete PPM is the #1 reason applications get delayed. All right, let's switch gears and look at the other path, the mutual fund route. And, we're calling it a gauntlet for a reason. This is a whole different ballgame with a much higher level of difficulty because it's designed to protect everyday retail investors.
You see, unlike an AIF, a mutual fund isn't just one company. By law, it has to be this 3-part team. You have the sponsor, who's the main backer. You have the trust, which is the legal fund entity. And then you have the asset management company, or AMC, which does all the day-to-day investing and management. And if you want to know just how high that barrier to entry is, just look at this number, 50 crore rupees. That's roughly $6 million US. And that's the minimum net worth your asset management company is required to have. SEBI wants to make sure only serious, well-funded players are managing the public's money. The whole process is an absolute marathon. After you've set up that 3-part structure, you submit your application, and that kicks off a deep dive inspection from SEBI. They'll look at everything, your offices, your tech, your team, and get this, even after you get your main license, you're not done. Every single fund you want to launch needs its own separate approval from SEBI.
So no matter which path you're heading down, you're going to need the right toolkit. This means having all your documents in order and, just as important, having the right professional partners in your corner. You absolutely cannot do this alone. Think of these as your essential crew. Your custodian is like a vault. They hold all the fund's assets safely. The registrar and transfer agent, or RTA, handles all the investor records. An evaluator is critical, especially if you're investing in things that don't have a daily market price. These partners are your operational backbone. Now, these policies here, they're not optional. SEBI requires you to have them all drafted and submitted with your application. For instance, your valuation policy is your rulebook for how you'll price your assets. It's all about fairness and transparency.
Your conflicts of interest policy shows you've thought about how to handle tricky situations. And this right here is a piece of advice you really need to take to heart. Remember, SEBI isn't just approving a fund, they're approving the people behind it. These fit and proper checks are no joke. So start gathering all those CVs and track records for your key people from day one. It'll save you a ton of headaches later. It's easy to think that getting that registration certificate is the finish line. But really, it's the starting pistol. Now the real work begins, and so do your ongoing responsibilities as a fund manager.
From here on out, this list is your new normal. You're in a constant cycle of reporting to SEBI, being transparent with your investors, and getting your books audited every year. It might seem like a lot, but this ongoing compliance is exactly what builds and maintains investor trust.
And there you have it. That's the end-to-end playbook for getting a fund registered in India. The regulatory race is run, but the real journey of actually managing money and delivering on your promises to investors, well, that starts now.